Hello everyone. In the previous video we were talking about the reasons why the cells they need to be divided and how for the multicellular organism and for unicellular organism. If you remember, we talked last semester. For the cells to be divided, they have to copy the DNA. The DNA should be copied to give for so the new cells they can get the same number of the genetic material of the same type of the genetic material. So now we want to talk about this in detail. We want to talk about the genetic material. Here what happens to genetic material during cell division? It should be copied, and it should give copies of this DNA. What is the DNA first? Which is the genetic material in the cell? You remember we said the DNA, which is a type of a nucleic acid. So DNA is a nucleic acid, right? Today I'm not gonna talk about exactly the structure of the DNA because we will talk about it in other lesson. We will talk about these nucleic acid. They are made up of a nucleotide. But now in general, for the genetic material in the cell, which is called what? The DNA, which is a nucleic acid, which is deoxyribonucleic acid. We will talk about the structure of it later. Now, as you know, for eukaryotic cell, this DNA exists where? In the nucleus. For example, this is the cell. Inside the cell, for eukaryotic cells, we have what? We have also the nucleus. What is the thing inside the nucleus? Which is what? Which is the DNA, the genetic material. Let's look at the DNA inside the nucleus. Actually, for most of the cell life, if you look at the genetic material in the nucleus, you will find that it's look like spaghetti, and you can find this is the cell. And for example, let's say this is the cell, okay, and inside the cell you have, let's use this one, which is the nucleus. I'm sorry, let's make it central because I wanted to talk about animal cells. Okay, so here how you will find the genetic material. You will find a genetic material which is like this, these threads like this. You will see it's look like a spaghetti inside the nucleus. Okay, let's talk about the DNA. The DNA structure, not exactly about the nucleotide, we will talk about it later, but I want to talk about these threads, like this spaghetti. They are made up of what? During the cell life, most of the cell life, actually, if you look at the DNA, this is the DNA here, as you see. We will talk about these strands and these nucleotide later, but this is the DNA, which is the genetic material. What it has inside it carries what? It's only this DNA. It carries the information, only all the inherited information. It contains instructions for organism growth, development, activities, and this is which is the DNA. Actually, this DNA, if you look deeply to the structure of it, you will find these strands. They are wrapped around a protein, as you see here. It's wrapped around the protein, and this one here, this part, this is the DNA, which is this one. Okay, it's like wrapped around a protein. This protein is called what? Is called histone. Let's do it like this. This is the DNA, strand of DNA. Sorry. This is a strand of DNA, for example. I'm going to use. It's around what? Around, there is something here. I'll call it protein, which is what? Which is here. Protein. This protein is called histone. Okay. Actually, the combination of DNA with the histone, and they are why it's around the histone. The DNA is very long. to compact the DNA inside the nucleus. Actually, it will be wrapped around this protein. These proteins are called what? Are called histone. Yani if you look how it looks in this figure, this is the first one, it's wrapped around this protein. This is the second one around this protein and this protein. This thread like structure of DNA with a protein together is called what? Is called chromatin. So what is the chromatin? Is made up of DNA and protein. Again, what is the chromatin? Is the DNA with the chromatin. Yani here, if you look back, let's go back to this one. These threads here, this thread line here wrapped around a protein which is called histone. I'm going to write it here. The protein is called what? Histone. Just hold on. The protein is called histone. So the histone with the DNA together, they are making this this thread-like structure. They are called what? They are called the chromatin. So the histone protein, so the combination, the DNA, let's say, with histone protein is called chromatin. Okay, we have mentioned for the DNA, before it starts to be divided, it will be prepared to be divided, right? For the cell to be divided, it should be prepared, right? What's gonna happen to the genetic material, the DNA inside it? They start to duplicate. They will start to make copies, right, of themselves. Actually, when they start to make copies, let's look as deeply or make zoom to this chromatin. What's gonna happen to them? Actually, you will see, this is, for example, this is the first thread. This is the first one here. It looks like this. Okay, this one, it will make a copy of it. When it start to make a copy of it, it will look like this. It will make like X-shaped structure. Okay, look at this. It will be condensed and copied. It will make X-shaped structure. So the copy of the DNA will start to be copied, and it will be more condensed, and it will be visible. This structure here will be called what? I'll call it a chromosome. Now this one is called what? A chromosome. Okay, so the chromosome, these two, the X-like structure, as you see, and these two, this is the first one here. I'm going to show you this one. This is the first copy at the beginning. It was like this. It makes another copy, as you see, and they are connected together in the middle, as you see here. In the middle, I'm going to use a green color to show you the middle of it. They are connected at this point where they are connected. This one is called what? Centromere. What about these two? This one alone, they are here. So this is the chromosome. All of it is called what? A chromosome. All of these two together after copying is called a chromosome. But if I want to talk about each part of this chromosome, this one, I'll give it a name now. I'll give it a name. I'll call it chromatid. And this one here, the other one, these are two sister chromatid actually. Another chromatid. So, sorry for this. So, let's go back to our figure. Maybe here is not clear as that much. Let's go here. After copying the DNA, I told you the DNA should be copied to make what? For this one, it should be copied to be prepared for the cell division. actually it will copy and it will make like this like structure. For this one, this part here is called all of it, all X bar structure is called what? Chromosome actually. And one of it, if I want to talk about one part of it, is called what? A chromatid. These are two sister chromatid and they are connected together in the middle by what? Which is called here the centromere. Maybe you are confused now. What is the chromatin? What is the chromatid? What is the chromosome? I'm going to repeat all of these together now. Now, if you're talking about the before the cell division, and during the most cell life, actually the DNA, it will be like a thread-like structure, and this thread-like structure which is contains the DNA and the protein, which is called what? And you can imagine it's like a spaghetti. These are called what? These are called the chromatin. Okay, then for the DNA to be ready to make the cell for the cell division, the DNA, it should be copied, it should be duplicated. Okay, actually at the beginning start to be condensed like this. This one also, it's called the chromosome. I'm not gonna talk about it. I don't want you to be confused, but I want you here start to be condensed, then start to be what? To be copied. When they copy, they will make like extra like structure. This duplicated chromosome has two chromatids which are held together by a centromere. This X-like structure, all of it is called what? Is called a chromosome. If you take one part of it as they took it here, it's called the chromatid. The other part is called the chromatid. They are exactly the same, they are copies, and they are linked together by a point which is called what? The centromere. Here I'm going to ask a question. What happens to DNA before cell division? You have a question 6 here. What happened to the DNA before cell division is duplicated or copied? Duplicated is duplicated or copied. Okay, then you have a question here for the question 7, as you see here. What happens to the chromatin in the early stages of the cell division? In chromatin, the chromatin, this one here, the chromatin, which is what? The DNA with the protein. Actually chromatin start to condense to be more visible, have two chromatids connected by a centromere. It will make like this X-shaped structure. So here, let's write it here now. So chromatin condense, chromatin condense, condenses actually chromosomes have two chromatids connected by what? By a centromere. I hope now this one is clear for you. I wanted to differentiate between these two terms because these terms are new for you, and now they will be familiar with you when you start talking about the cell division in more details. Okay, I'm going to show you another figure. Let's look at this figure here. You have a chromosome and a chromatid, and what is the chromatin? Come on, also. Let's talk about the chromatin. The chromatin first, which is the DNA around the protein. So which one here? This one here represent? This is the blue thing, which is the protein histone, and how this DNA strands, they are wrapped around what? Around this protein. So which is what? A chromatin. Okay. This one start to condense to make a chromosome. Then it will be copied to make the X-like structure here, and as you see, this X-like structure, when it's make copies, they are held in the center by what? A centromere, and each part side of this is called what? Is called a chromatid, and these are two sister chromatid. I want to show you another one here. Look at this one here. This is the chromatin, which is only what? The DNA with the protein start to condense to make a chromosome and X-like structure after copying, so it will make these sister chromatid, and all of it is called what? Chromosome. Forget about this one in the middle, I'll tell you about it later. Now the protein with DNA alone, chromatin, the X-like structure, when the DNA start to copy it and make it, it will be what? A chromosome now, and the two parts of chromosomes are called sister chromatid. I want you to look at this table here. Let's differentiate between chromosomes and chromatid. Occurred in the life cycle, and when the cells start to make a cell division, right? A chromatid occur only in mitosis or meiosis. The chromosomes, let's say, here they are actually before, and they are duplicated or not, okay? Before, here they are preparing. This is the chromatid, which is the one part of it. A function carry out the genetic material. The chromatid enables cells to duplicate, okay? Duplicated, yes, it is the chromosomes. The chromatid, you're talking about one part of it. Centromere, chromosome, they have centromere. Actually, the chromatid, not only sister chromatid have, if they are sisters chromatid, okay? If you have any question about today's lesson, you can send me your question. Thank you for listening.